Well, that's a complex question. There's different ways of looking at this. I don't think, first of all, the concept of decentralization is very subjective, because let's say if you use zero knowledge proof, you can actually find a way of having the code to run in a way that is programmed to respect different areas, and that is the ideal world. But we are humans, and as humans, it's always tricky to make sure that we code something that is coded with our interests and sometimes innuendos that actually can go in the wrong direction. And that happened with a couple of countries where actually they use technology not necessarily for the best things. But being very positive, I believe that we can actually create, first of all, international standards and actually local standards of looking at data privacy, and then bringing this to this kind of Web 3.0 solutions. The Web 3.0 in the end of the day is just an evolution of the internet, but the world population is still getting into the internet. Of course, we have 4 billion people that are right now having daily access to internet almost every day, probably even 5, but there's 3 billion people that have limited access to the internet. So there's a lot of problems with digital access, and digital divide is a big problem still. So I believe more that the Web 3 is going to be the Web 2 in steroids, and of course, especially with the inception of metaverse and all these AR, VR, mixed reality technologies, we're going to have the capacity to go thousands of times faster. So there needs to be more than decentralized, a sense of community and a sense of respect towards the different players. And I believe that if you look this purely from a competition or business development perspective, I believe that there's much more opportunities to work together than work against other people. And I think if you think from a perspective of collective, not in the sense of political, but in the sense of, and I have a great example, for instance, Silicon Valley, when the internet started, they were very divided, and when there was the dot-com boom, they understood that if they were very divided, they will have a problem. So they united themselves and created the Silicon Valley 2.0 that became much bigger, and actually the one that runs the world in technology as we speak. That was because the different players align efforts and work together. So I believe there's space and there's money to be made by all business players. There's a sense of regulation, a sense of respect that we have to do. But if you get this right, definitely the business opportunities are non-stop. And especially most of the world economy is going to migrate to Web 3.0. So the way we bring these investments has to be coming as well with a sense of responsibility. Because of course, ESG, if you have a big company that becomes successful in these areas and you don't follow some of the protocols, you'll come to haunt you. It's the karma. We are in India, so the karma it's coming as well in technology. And sometimes the karma is that sometimes you might not agree with someone else, but you have to respect or at least find the balance. And that's why you have to write things down and you have to write the code right. So I think that's my suggestion here, is looking at this in an intelligent way that actually protects, but at the same time that looks at these things in the right way.